Okay. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to Destinies. I'm the writer. Sorry for the long wait on this one, but I promised to finish this one. It's been such a long time. They took Athena from the courtroom straight to the station. She's probably being questioned at this very moment. I lost my kids! Oh god, I really did. Well, this is depressing. Yeah, Paul left his freaking jacket! After this past year, I took it for granted that those two would always be here. But now Paul has gone off on his own to seek his own truth. And my pursuit of the truth only ended up with Athena becoming the new suspect. Some boss I turned out to be. Yeah, it was your first time having, like, employees. Even then, that's pretty bad.
It's even quieter in here than usual.
Yeah, it seems so empty, too.
I don't get it, Daddy. All of your reasoning during the trial seemed perfectly solid.
Yeah, and I still believe it was, at least based on what we know.
But now, Athena is the only one who's been accused.
Oh, flashback? During the trial for the bombing and the murder that occurred at the Cosmos Space Center. Oh god. The lighter used by the real culprit was found. This lighter proved that the defendant, Solomon Starbuck, innocent. Oh god. But Athena's prints were found on it instead. And she was subsequently arrested for the murder.
But Athena couldn't have done it. It just doesn't make sense.
None of it does. I've been racking my brain, but I just can't figure it out. Where's the flaw in my reasoning? What have I got wrong in this case?
You know, Daddy, if Athena was here, she wouldn't just be sitting around thinking. She'd be out there doing something. Are you going to defend Athena? Oh, you are going to defend Athena, right, Daddy?
Of course I will, and thanks, Trucy. I needed that push. Trucy's right. The trial's tomorrow, and there's no time to waste. If I'm going to prove Athena's innocence, I'd better get out there and find some evidence.
Off we go, then. We're on the hunt for evidence that'll prove Athena's innocence.
Great, but before we go, I better tidy up the evidence tab on hand. Oh, thank God. Also, this is adorable. Athena is probably still in the middle of being questioned. So, Trucy's right. The thing to start with is talking to people at the Space Center. Okay, I want more of this in Ace Attorney. Why the frick do we not talk to our own child? Don't worry, Athena, we'll save you. I promise. Direct Cosmos, do you have a minute? Galactic scooter! Full speed ahead! Okay. Director! He scooted away.
His expression changed the instant he saw you, Daddy.
Yeah, well, I dragged his name through the mud pretty good at the trial earlier today. That was earlier today? Oh, okay. Just moving on. Boarding lounge. I thought we did something. Alright. Well, we were here only yesterday. Oh, hey! Oh, it's this guy. Mr. Starbuck, you've been released, huh? That was fast. Yep, I came straight here. This is all thanks to you and your team, Mr. Wright. You've given me a second chance to fly into space again. I can't thank you enough. Oh yeah, and sorry about Apollo and Athena. Except... what's wrong? I thought he'd be happy to be acquitted. As I was coming out of the detention center, I saw Miss Sykes. He saw Athena? I was at a loss for words. I didn't know what to say to the poor girl. And then, you know what? She flashed a peace sign at me. Congratulations on your acquittal, she said. Now you can go back into space someday. Yeah, that sounds like Athena. I can just picture it. But I saw her eyes. They were red and swollen from crying. Oh! She's gotta be suffering. She must be so worried. And yet she went out of her way to be nice and give me that big smile.
She held back her own tears so she could give someone else a smile. That's so Athena.
There's no question about it, that girl is innocent. Please, Mr. Wright, you have to make sure she goes free. And then they can put me in prison instead. I don't mind. We can't have either of you, Mr. Starbuck. Don't worry, Mr. Starbuck. I'm going to give her the very best defense I can. I promise to get her acquitted, just like I did for you. I know she'll be all right with you in her corner. I know you'll never give up on her. Apollo has a fine boss to look up to. Yeah, the last one went so well. I still can't believe Launchpad 1 was switched with the Space Museum. What could have made Director Cosmos do such a thing? I have the foggiest idea. So there never was going to be a launch that day, not from the very beginning. I wonder if Clay knew. I doubt it. I imagine he must have. Okay. Surely he wouldn't have noticed that you went to board the rocket. It's pathetic to think I was the only one who got taken in. Yeah, if I was going to cover up something, I definitely would have at least told everyone. Just a thought. I guess that's how it goes when you're worth less than space debris.
Is he going to be alright, Daddy? His expression looks as dark as a black hole.
Thanks, Trucy. Well, that's just how he is. Oh, alright then. Mr. Starbuck, do you remember anything about the murderer? Not really. I only saw a shadowy figure in the dark after all. I guess that was a little too much to out for. Hey, I heard something from the police officer, though. They said they never found a .10 caliber gun down that trash chute. Just as I thought. The culprit must have carried it away with them when they escaped.
So, was the person who saw holding the gun Mr. Starbuck?
I couldn't really tell you. But it wasn't Athena, right? Could you tell me if the person was male or female, tall or short? I can't even tell you that much. Man, I'm useless. When the culprit opened the door and some light came in, I should have been able to see. The door. Ah, yes. As I recall, they opened this door here as they made their escape.
The door to Launchpad 1, right?
Yep, exactly. Right now, that door leads to the Space Museum. You mean the launch pad and the Space Museum are switched right now? Yeah, they're trying to investigate the theory you came up with in court. So they recreated the conditions, huh? I'd like to see what's beyond that door now. Mr. Starbuck, could you open this door for us? Sure, just let me have my print scan here. Do the launch pads get switched back and forth a lot? Well, back when the Space Museum was Launch Pad 2, they used to switch the pads around at times. But these days, Launch Pad 2 is only used as a tourist attraction, correct? Right. Because, quite frankly, the Space Center needs the money. Oh, that's sad. I hear you. Times are sure tough. God.
Daddy, let's go check out what's beyond that door.
Sure, let's go. Hey, why don't I come along? I can show you around. Oh, really? Oh, no. Is that blood? No, that's not blood. I found blood. Or, well, I think it was blood. It was weird. Anyway, I wonder what these dead leaves are doing here.
Maybe they were stuck to the bottom of someone's shoes? There's a lot of trees around the Space Center.
She's right. Where is there a tree? It's a modern state-of-the-art building, but it's surrounded by trees. I don't know. If they were stuck to the bottom of someone's shoes, wouldn't they look more crushed up? These, I don't know, look like they've been stepped on.
Maybe there was some kind of secret hatch in the corridor, and they came in that way?
Not everything is a setup like a magician stage, you know. That's your daughter. At least she's trying to help. So this is another one of those devices for opening the door, huh? Yep. But this one doesn't require fingerprint verification. You just hit the button and open sesame.
So when you and Clay went through here, you didn't need to show your prints either.
That's right, Trucy. Just like how the culprit didn't need to scan their prints when they escaped back out to the Space Museum corridor into boarding lounge 2. Oh boy. Well, I don't see anything else that jumps out to me. And I imagine that the corridor is built exactly like Launchpad 1 corridor. Really? Okay. Is that all we can do? Yep, that's all we can do. Okay. I think he's back. Hope he is. Yep, okay. Oh, hey, it's almost December here too. No, not that feeling. Never mind. Wow, there's no snow. Ugh. Curse the wretch who's sullied my good name. Reverse controls and full speed away. Director Cosmos, wait. Oh, he's gone again.
I'll handle this, Daddy. Take that.
God, the mobility system has been compromised. Trucy's knife throw was a direct hit to one of his tires.
And the streak continues.
Maybe I should have kept a closer watch on what tricks she's been practicing. You are a terrible... Well, no, you are a really great dad, but I would definitely watch what she's doing. But your battleship, we fought many a skirmish together. It's been an honor.
Daddy, he's going to blow up that thing.
What? Nah, I bet all that button will do is make it go haywire again. Very well, I surrender. As a prisoner of war, I expect to be treated honorably. Oh, not this theme! Oh, not this theme. Director Cosmos, when you were talking in court about switching the launch pads, you used your right to remain silent about the reason as to why. We can't coerce him out of it. I'd like Director Cosmos to tell us why he switched the 2 launch pads to begin with. Please, I can't. I exercise my right to remain silent, but I will say my hands were tied. I was only doing what I could to keep my men from getting caught up in that blast. Well, one's dead, so that didn't work out well. The center of the cosmos was shrouded in mystery, but I do not have any secrets left. Now that my battleship has been destroyed, I've been taken prisoner. Oh, God. I'm actually fine with this. Only 3? Okay. No secrets left, huh? I beg to differ. Looks like I'll have to undo his psych locks if I want to get to the bottom of this. Here we go again. Yeah, it's the switching of the launch pads. I want you to tell me everything you're hiding about the switching of the 2 launch pads. I refuse. You can't make me. I can hold out longer than anyone. I hope I never get like this when I'm old. Now, let's see. Where to start? This is how you explain your motive for switching the launch pads. You did it. Oh, man. Right, yeah, it was this one. You cared, right? You did care, right? Thanks to you switching the launch pads, the astronauts escaped injury from the blast. Instead, they safely boarded the museum's rocket as far away from the actual explosion. My astronauts were raring to go on an authentic adventure in space. How do you propose I had them board a fake rocket without them noticing? I agreed and couldn't have done it without help. For one, they would have figured it out the instant they stepped into the Space Museum. You figured you could fool Mr. Starbuck once he was been drugged with his medication, but without the help of this person, it would have been impossible to pull your plan off. God dang it, Clay! You know what? That makes sense. He would be stupid enough to do this. You must have gotten Mr. Terran to help you. He stole the tranquilizers from his mentor's locker and slipped them to him. Oh my God. And then Mr. Starbuck in a daze, they boarded the replica rocket in the museum. Oh, someone please help this poor prisoner of war. How was he able to spin around like that? That's what you're concerned of? If you really wanted to save the astronauts' lives, shouldn't you have just called off the launch? If I could have done that, do you think I would have gone with all that trouble? I guess he must have had a compelling reason why he couldn't call it off. But how do you know switching the pads in advance to the boarding incident? Well, that's because I was warned in advance. Once I received that warning, it was my duty to ensure my astronaut's safety. But it was just a warning. It could have even been a prank. Why did you believe it so completely? Because I went to one of those mediums that everyone was talking about these days. Oh, I didn't realize channeling was back in vogue. Besides, I thought it was you yourself that got the warning via telephone. Yes, that's right. The bomber contacted me personally. My battleship is equipped with the Special Advanced Communication System, you see? AKA a regular old telephone. It's been a while. Lighting on another launch? I see you haven't learned? I'll never forget the terror I felt when I received that call. The bomber said it's been a while, and that it was enough to make you take the threat seriously. Perhaps Director Cosmos took the threat so seriously because the Space Center had been involved in a bombing once before. Maybe. And the culprit in the current case is some person that was involved in the incident. The Hat One miracle, that epic story of survival, people across the nation know it as a heroic tale of bravery. But in truth, it was an act of sabotage perpetrated by our current killer, wasn't it? Very few knew of the previous plot, so when the caller said it's been a while, you knew beyond the shadow of a doubt that the danger is real and that it wasn't a prank. Ugh, didn't anyone ever tell you to go easy on the ex-servicemen? Yes, the Hat One miracle was really a desperate battle against an act of sabotage. I even lost the life of one of my staff members that fight. Sabotage? Murder? So this is the ugly truth behind the Hat One miracle? I let my guard down. I thought the saboteur had been caught and that the case was closed. Huh? Wait a minute. The murder at the Space Center 7 years ago. This must be the person Director Cosmos thought was the culprit. Yay! Simon Blackwell, the murder suspect in a case that happened here 7 years ago. That place and time of the two incidents, the murder and the sabotage, were the same. So you thought he committed both crimes. But while Prosecutor Blackwell was behind bars, you got another threatening call. If the culprit this time is the same as 10 years ago, then it isn't Simon Blackwell. Realizing that, you were shaken. It meant that the true culprit's been running free all this time. How do you keep seeing straight through me? Oh, thank God. Wait, are we gonna hear his ridiculous theme song? Because I would rather go back to the Cyclops theme. Please don't give me his theme. Him and Fulbrights give me headaches. Oh, no. No. Well, it's quiet, so that might not be his theme, thank God. The reason why Director Cosmos won't talk about why I switched the launch pads is connected to the truth behind the Hat One miracle. The sabotage and the murder that happened at the Space Center 7 years ago. Director Cosmos, tell us what you're hiding. If you really want to understand the reason I decided to switch the launch pads. Oh, flashback? We'll have to start with the story of that horrible nightmare from 7 years ago. 7 years ago. You mean the so-called Hat One miracle. Okay. Oh, music. The launch went smoothly, but once the ship entered outer space, that's when the trouble began. It was all that handiwork of a certain person and their evil scheme. So Mr. Starbuck's traumatic experience wasn't accidental. Not only that, but before the launch, a very valuable piece of moon rock was stolen. But that wasn't the worst of it. One of my staff members was murdered. Ah.
Wow, I had no idea such an awful event were behind the exciting story of space heroism.
All that, in spite of the Space Centers having a very strict security in those days, all personnel effects were examined thoroughly, coming and going. You couldn't even smuggle away where they don't leave through the checkpoints. So, do you have any clue who was responsible for the sabotage? At the very least, I know if it wasn't Simon Blackwell. I don't know enough to identify the true culprit, but it was clear what that person is. To put it simply, a spy.
A spy? You mean somebody who infiltrates a foreign country? And carries out dangerous missions? And always gets the girl?
Someone's watching way too many late-night movies. Well, I guess if we're talking about blowing up a rocket and stealing research material, it's not all that surprising that a spy could be behind it all. Make no mistake, there is a cutthroat rivalry between nations in the space R&D race. Some truly try to outdo others by any means possible, even deliberate obstruction. 7 years ago, we got a call before the launch warning us of a sabotage. The same MO as this time. Oh, the same MO as this time. Yes, and here I thought the perpetrator had been caught, but it looks like I was wrong.
Prosecutor Blackwell seems more like a ninja than a spy, don't you think?
Ninjas and spies basically the same thing. But there's a good reason we failed to find the real spy. A massive cover-up by the government. Government officials were too embarrassed to admit that they had allowed even such a thing to happen at the hands of a spy. Don't tell me they made the police rush the investigation. They did indeed, and then to cover up the sabotage, they cleaned up the story. And that was the Hat 1 miracle, wasn't it? But then, 7 years later, the same MO, advanced warnings of sabotage, there must have been a director's reason for switching to launch pads. 7 years ago, the spy gave you advanced warnings of their plans just like this time. That was what made you decide to switch to launch pads, wasn't it? That's right. The caller knew the facts of the case 7 years ago despite the cover-up. They knew about the sabotage, the moon rock, and the murder. And they said, "You don't want things to go like they did 7 years ago, do you?" I immediately thought of calling off the launch, but the government wouldn't let me. We don't give in to the likes of terrorists. We must proceed for our country's honor. It was quite a moving speech, actually. Moving? Really? Maybe if you're easily inspired by politics talking about points. But I knew the truth. We had been warned, which means that the dangers were very real. And I knew there was no way to stop the spy. No matter what I did, they would find a way. That's why they switched the launch pads. That's why I switched the launch pads and staged the moving rescue scene. Huh. First, I snuck into the center the night before and switched the launch pads. That way, the astronauts would go into the boarding lounge 1 to the Space Museum. Then I put up a close repair sign at the door to launch pad 1 to boarding lounge 2. You did that so no others wouldn't enter, right? What else did you do? I enlisted the help of several staff members, including Terran. But you didn't let Mr. Starbuck in on it? He had clearly been through enough, and he's no good at lying to keep a secret. I'm afraid I had no choice but to have him drugged. My plan went well until...
He's murdered. Huh.
Yeah, that would put a damper on things. After the culprit made their escape, I switched the launch pads back. I did it in a way that such no one could find out. But after all that effort, Terran is dead and the Hat 2 is destroyed. And the Hope capsule, which had returned to us only recently, was also lost in the blast. My home, center of the cosmos, my beautiful Cosmos Space Center is done for! Wait, what did he mean by the hope of the capsule was lost in the blast? I thought that the Hope capsule was found at the crime scene with Mr. Terran. It had just been brought back by the Hope space probe with asteroid samples inside. So what kind of samples are they? What's in them? The samples are scheduled for analysis in the near future. We haven't had time since they just came back the day before Terran's murder. The capsule was being held in a safe in launch pad 1, but I gave it to Terran before the incident so it wouldn't be destroyed in the explosion. The idea was that it was safely in Terran's possession. He couldn't make it look like he rescued it during the stage miraculous escape. But our precious research materials ended up lost to that explosion anyway.
But I thought Clay was supposed to keep it safe.
You misunderstand. The launchpad explosion wasn't the one the capsule was lost to. It was lost after the police confiscated it as evidence. Oh, so the police happened. It's the end of the courtroom bombing from the other day. That the capsule was there in the courtroom as evidence and was blown to smithereens. Oh wow, that's unfortunate. Yet another casualty of that blast. Ultimately, I think the culprit may have known about the switching of the launch pads. What? How? The police found a wiretapping device during their investigation today. A bug aboard my battleship, on top of my advanced communication systems. A wire on that phone. Yes, a wire on this very phone. I used this phone to give instructions to my sim for the launchpad switch. Just to few select members who knew the plan. Just before the incident, staff members were coming in and out of launchpad 1. The culprit had slipped in with them amid the confusion, and planted the bomb then. Yes, if they were tapping your phone, they definitely could have pulled something like that off. So you really think the same spies behind this incident and the one 7 years ago? Yes, I'm sure of it. Then the spy must be the phantom Prosecutor Blackwell has been chasing. Oh god. But Prosecutor Black... Oh wait, no, that wasn't his voice. But Prosecutor Blackwell told me once... Yes? The hunt I've been on for the phantom of 7 years past continues even still. For starters, that case happened right here at the very Space Center too.
So if we can find this phantom...
That's right, we can clear Athena's name. And then there's a matter of Prosecutor Blackwell too.
What about him?
Well, if the culprit of 7 years ago is the same person as the current incident, it would mean Prosecutor Blackwell is innocent. That's still an if, though.
I wonder how dangerous that guy was in court without handcuffs. But if we're going as a ghost hunt, count me in.
Shouldn't we have brought... Oh, no. Aha! It's all over for me! Spin, spin, whirl, whirl, I'm done for. The center of the cosmos is doomed.
You think he's gonna be alright, Daddy?
Well, he's still being good company. There must be planets out there he can spin with. Which reminds me, I'd like to delve a little deeper into the Hat 1 mission, too. If you want to learn more, start with the Space Museum. There's a Hat 1 exhibit there. Oh, don't mind me. I'll just keep spinning here and see how the cosmos unfolds.
It's like he achieved spiritual enlightenment or something.
I'm sure he'll stop when he gets dizzy. Let's go visit the Space Museum.
Yay!
Oh, God, okay. We're gonna just leave you here. Bye. Oh, goodness.
Let's see, where's the exhibit on the launch pad? The launch 7 years ago.
Launch pad, launch. There's so many. And launch pad just came of a character in DuckTales. There's the Hat 1 exhibit.
Oh wow, look at that photo of the team.
There's Clay and Mr. Starbuck, Director Cosmos, or Blackwell, and even Ponko. But I've never seen the woman on the right before.
Everybody looks so happy. Well, except for Director Cosmos.
Let's check out the newspaper article too. Hat 1 launched into Mint, and there's a photo of the Hope space probe. I guess it's only natural it doesn't talk about the murder of the sabotage.
They really weren't keeping it a secret, just like the director said. Daddy, take a look at this jacket.
It must have been the Hat 1 team's uniform jacket. It's the same design as the one Apollo was wearing, the one that belonged to Clay.
Actual jacket worn by the Hat 1 team member, it says.
Not a replica, huh? I wonder if it was Mr. Starbucks. Okay.
Hello?
I assume it's a girl. I don't know. Oh, it is a girl. Hi, Junie. Oh, Miss Woods. What brings you here?
I heard Athena got arrested, so I've been looking for you, Mr. Wright. I thought you might be here at the scene.
You must be so worried, but rest assured, I'm going to do my very best to defend her.
Athena's going through such a hard time. I hope she doesn't lose heart. Even just coming back to this place must have been really difficult for her.
Eh? Huh? You mean the Cosmos Space Center?
What? You didn't know? She used to live here, and when she was a little girl.
She did? I didn't know that. No wonder she knew so much. Miss Woods, could you please tell me more in detail? Aw. I think we'll do this one. We'll see what happens.
Nina's mom worked here. If I remember right, she was a doctor of psychology or something like that.
But why was a psychology specialist working at a space station research facility?
I don't really know. I do know that she lived and worked here, so Athena lived here too.
So it was far from Athena's first time here. I wonder why she didn't mention it.
She probably didn't want to talk about it. This place is connected to a very sad memory for her.
Oh, jeez. Sad memory? A sad memory? Can you tell me about it?
There was a terrible incident here. It was 7 years ago.
The same time frame as the Hat 1 launch.
Nina's mom, in the robotics lab, she was murdered.
Of course.
What? After it happened, Athena stopped coming to the school.
Poor Athena. In all this time, she never let on at all.
I was so worried about her. I came here so many times, hoping to see her.
Oh, what a good friend. Man, this place is really unlucky.
But I never saw her again.
Oh.
After a while, we started to exchange letters. But I didn't get to see her face to face for 7 long years.
And so the first time you seen her at 7 years was during Professor Court's case.
That's right, and I was so surprised. She looked like a completely different person, so cheerful and happy.
Oh, God. What was Athena like as a child?
She was very sensitive and kind. She didn't talk very much. She liked to draw and paint at home.
Okay, that's cute.
That's completely different from the Athena we know now. I can't even picture it. She never left the Space Center much because she was very sensitive to other people's emotions. When she went to crowded places, she'd get dizzy from all the emotions flying around.
It must be hard to hear people's hearts as well as their voices.
She always wore those big, heavy-looking headphones. She said her mother made it for her as a part of her research.
Huh, I wonder what kind of research it was.
Because of her special ability, Athena couldn't handle being in school very often, and I was always so sick because of my weak constitution. Maybe that's why we became such good friends. We used to play together here at the Space Center a lot. It brings back memories. Sounds like Athena's mother played a big role here at the Space Center. Oh, Daddy, show her that picture.
Atta girl, good idea. Oh, what a proud dad. I think we're gonna stop here though. Yeah, that seems good enough. Alright, thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Goodbye. Oh, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone.